I feel like I need to speak on why I'm qualified to like say things. In this day and age, so many people are just like getting on YouTube or social media and like giving advice, but they're not saying why they're qualified to speak on this. Again, I've been in the workforce. I've had jobs for the past 8-9 years of my life. I got 3 job offers in 1 week. I've never been rejected from a job. I can say that. And yes, these things have all worked for me. I've been called a unicorn at my job. I've been praised and appreciated for different things, and I want to share that with you because you are all valuable, and I want you to be valued and appreciated at your work as well. And I also want you to get the job and chase the bag. So what is good? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Morgan and this is Mo Life. On this channel we talk about a bunch of different things: life, love, health, relationships, my different experiences and advice that I want to give and share with y'all, and much more. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you subscribe. We have fun here. Today the topic is something that I do have a lot of experience in. I've been working since I was 15, so almost 10 years in the working world, I guess you could say. And I'm also in a position in my current job that I actually interview people. So the topic for today's video is interview tips, how I got 3 job offers in 1 week, and then tips that I would give to people who are going into an interview, as I am somebody who actually conducts interviews and is part of the hiring process at my current job right now. So number 1 is do your research on the company and kind of know what you're talking about and know exactly where you're going into. So this would look like knowing the company values, knowing what their mission is, knowing what they're doing. If it's a bigger company, like obviously focusing on like your specific role is more important. Having a general idea of what the organization is doing, why they're doing it, and how you would fit in there and why you want to work there. This also kind of relates into like reading the job description thoroughly, having a very clear understanding of what your role will be. And this kind of leads into number 2 is come prepared by printing out the job description and also bringing a copy of your resume with you. So when I went to my job interviews, I always bring a folder. I always bring a copy of the job description that I have went through. I'll highlight different things in the description that I have questions about or are like the main points or main ideas of what my job would be, my salary. And then I also bring my resume just in case like they didn't print it out or if I need to reference it for any kind of reason. This shows the potential employer that you are extremely organized, you're on top of things, you're thinking ahead, you're well prepared. I've never had anybody come into an interview with these things. I would immediately be impressed, like immediately green flag. My next tip is to come with questions to ask at the end. So this kind of ties into reading the job description, reading what you're going to be doing, and then coming up with questions beforehand that you have about your role. At the end of the interview, they will always ask you, do you have any questions for us? Do you have anything else you want to add? Always have a question to ask. Some of my favorite questions would be, why do you guys enjoy your job here? Maybe like, what are some of the biggest difficulties you guys face here? Another one is kind of, the one that I like to ask is, can you walk me through a day in the life here if I did get this role? And that kind of gives you an idea of like what your day-to-day life will look like, because sometimes the description doesn't entirely encapsulate like what your day will look like. So this helps you decide too if this is going to be a good fit for you. And the last question that I always recommend asking is, what does your ideal candidate look like? And they will kind of give you a list of qualities, a list of things that this person will be doing. And this is actually a psychology trick, because when they're listing off their ideal candidate, they're looking at you. So now they will associate you with their ideal candidate. So it's kind of like a little psychology, like mind trick, definitely worth trying. My next tip is to dress appropriately. I thought this was common sense, but it is not. We've had people show up to interviews in like mismatched Crocs, leggings, and like a very oversized like baggy hoodies and stuff, and just I know that sometimes like not all jobs are super serious. Like I work at a community center, so you wouldn't expect somebody to like wear a suit and tie, but it's like at least presenting yourself in a put together, organized, I tried, like at least try, just so it kind of gives like a good first impression, because it is a little bit off-putting when you're seeing people come in like they just woke up. Like I think we had one person come in like literal pajama pants, and it's like it's not it. Next tip is to arrive early. I would say between 5 to 10 minutes early, even 10 to 15 minutes early. Come in, introduce yourself, take a seat while you're waiting. We've had so many people come into interviews late, and it just gives us the ick. It's just like, if you can't be reliable to show up on time for your interview, that's showing us that you might not be reliable to show up on time for your actual shift. So please God, make sure you're showing up at least 5 minutes early. It's very off-putting, and it is a very big red flag to potential employers when you're not on time. And again, I thought this was common sense, but the number of people who show up late, like 10 minutes late, no call, no show, ghost, it's just insane. Like, we were having a conversation and I was like, do people not like respect themselves and respect their word? Like, if you said you're gonna be on time, like stand on that. Like, that's kind of like showing your character. Like, if something happens, obviously that's different, but like stand on it. Stand on the fact that you're going to be on time, like show that you can be consistent and reliable, because a lot of people these days are not. And so by you showing up on time, you will be set apart from the crowd for sure. Unfortunately, that's how it is, but that's what it is. My next tip for in the interview is, when it comes to like coming prepared as well, is bringing a list of like bullet points or talking points. If you happen to get like a really nervous, or you kind of like forget what your train of thought is when you have interviews. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with bringing in like a cheat sheet. It just, again, shows that you're prepared, shows that you have things that you want to talk about. And if you're anything like me, you get into an interview or you get into kind of like a important like event or setting, and your mind just kind of like forgets like what you were supposed to say, or you miss important details, you miss a specific example from a previous job. So just having those bullet points to kind of like guide you, and you can look at them, and I promise nobody's gonna be like, oh my God, he brought in bullet points to refer to. It's like, no, like that shows that you care and you put in extra effort for this. Like, it's always gonna be a good thing. So recommend that for sure if you definitely get more anxious or forgetful during your interviews. A couple more tips. I would say practice talking to yourself in front of a mirror, in front of a mirror or in your car on the way there. Make sure that you talk slow. I mumble and I talk very fast. So I really have made it a goal to try to enunciate my words, talk more slower, not mumble and not slur all my words together. So doing this in an interview as well. So communication is easy, it's clear. Nothing is worse when like somebody's answering a question and you have to, what? Can you repeat that? Ugh. So just practice talking slowly, enunciating, and it actually helps you practice like what you're gonna say ahead of time, which can help ease some anxiety as well. One more tip is, please make sure your personality is present. So not only are you going into a job to perform a specific task or duty, you're also bringing your entire self to work. And most of the time you're gonna be in an environment where you're collaborating with other people, and that your personality meshes with the group that you're with is very important. I've heard so many stories of people who like enjoy their job but dislike their coworkers because like the personalities just don't match up. And you can't always avoid that, but kind of like giving your personality out, trying to have conversations with the people that you're being interviewed by and get a feel for them and get a feel for the workplace environment. Another question that you should ask at the end of your interview is like, can you please describe like the workplace culture? Like, how's the appreciation here? How do employees feel valued? Oh my God, please never work for a company that doesn't value you. I've been in positions where my boss didn't really give a fuck about me, like didn't check in, didn't really show any type of like, I was just another person doing the job. I wasn't Morgan, you know what I mean? So obviously if you're working in like a huge corporate world, that is kind of the culture. But if you're looking to work for a smaller place or even the corporate world that has more of an appreciation culture. If that's important to you, I highly recommend asking that question as well. Because getting to know the people that you're going to work with, because it's not only about the task that you're going to provide and the job you're going to do, it's like the environment that you're literally going to be in for a huge part of your day. Like 1/3 of your day is going to be with these people in this environment. And if it's not conducive to who you want to be, how you want to be, your growth, that's a red flag to you. So when you're interviewing, you're interviewing them as well as them interviewing you. And I think a lot of times people forget that, and they think that in an interview, they're in the submissive position and the interviewers are the dom because they're the ones evaluating me. But I want you to remember that everybody and their mama is hiring right now, first of all. And second of all, you're interviewing them as well. Like, this is your life, your livelihood, your time, your commitment. I want to make sure that you're making the right choice for you as well. So make sure you're asking questions, have your personality be present, try to get to know them, have small talk, small conversation to kind of like ease the tension a little bit and just kind of make it more conversational than like direct interrogation, because that's just like awkward for everybody. So those are my tips. Again, I feel like I need to speak on why I'm qualified to like say things. In this day and age, so many people are just like getting on YouTube or social media and like giving advice, but they're not saying why they're qualified to speak on this. Again, I've been in the workforce. I've had jobs for the past 8-9 years of my life. I got 3 job offers in 1 week. I've never been rejected from a job. I can say that. And yes, these things have all worked for me. I've been called a unicorn at my job. I've been praised and appreciated for different things, and I want to share that with you because you are all valuable, and I want you to be valued and appreciated at your work as well. And I also want you to get the job and take the bag. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share with anybody who is kind of in that interviewing process right now. Hopefully these tips and tricks can help them out. And with that, I'll catch y'all next time.